Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make hard drums for somebody like Nardo Wick. I made a beat recently and it's definitely something that I could hear Nardo Wick on. It has that dark vibe with crazy drums. So as usual, I'm gonna go through and just break down everything I did to make the beat. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and let's just get right into it. Alright, so as you can see, I have the final beat pulled up here. We're sitting at 156 BPM. Usually for Nardo Wick type beats, you usually want to be around like 150 to 165 BPM. There's usually a lot of energy in his songs, and you want to make sure that you also have a good loop or a good sample that's gonna like set the tone for the beat. You want to make sure that the sample is really dark sounding. That's kind of what Nardo Wick is known for. So for this beat, I used a loop from the Red Tape loop kit that I just dropped with Ellis Lost. As 25 loops that are all really dark, really high energy. I'll go ahead and leave a link down in the description for that. Yeah, literally I pulled in the first loop from that kit, so I'll go ahead and play it. This is a collab between me and Ellis. So yeah, I pulled it in, and when I pulled it in, I chopped it up. So Ellis had it broken down into different sections, and then he had the stems at the end, but I didn't feel like using the stems, so I just took the sections as they were. And what I did is I pitched it down 2 semitones. So we were at F minor, so we went from F minor to D sharp minor. I didn't do anything to it. I just left it how it was. I just turned the volume down a little bit, and as you can see right here where the melody has the bass that Ellis put in it, I just left that at the beginning for like an intro, and then I have it going throughout the beat as like a little bridge or like a hook. And then other than that, I just have it broken down into a hook right here, and then a verse, and then the little like part with the bass, and then the hook, verse, part with the bass, and then another hook. So there's 3 hooks, 2 verses, and then there's the part with the bass that just goes throughout the beat. Like I said, almost 3 minutes, which is kind of typical for Nardo Wick. Usually like 2 to 3 minutes, which is typical for like most artists. So I did that first. I structured the melody out how I wanted it, and then I added the drums. The next thing you want to do is make sure that your sound selection is on point. For all the drums in this video, I use my Slat drum kit. It just has a lot of good like quality drums, especially for like Nardo Wick type stuff. It has a go-to drums folder, a lot of like just kind of more basic drums, but good like go-to, and then it has a separate folder with drums that are a little bit more unique. So the first sound that I picked is this clap. This is just the basic clap, and I laid down this really simple pattern right here, just the basic clap pattern. Next thing that I did is I picked out this hi-hat. This is the go-to hi-hat from the Slat drum kit. This is literally my favorite hi-hat, and I just laid down this really simple pattern. Nothing too crazy. Once I had the hi-hat and the clap, I kind of had a bounce going already, so I just went in and I dropped in an 808, and I came up with this pattern right here. I picked a long distorted 808. It just sounds like this. And what I do with the 808 is I turn everything down on the envelope except for the hold. I turn it all the way up, and that makes it so that you can control the 808. You can control the length of it. You can make it stop if you want to, and then you make sure it's cutting itself so that the notes don't bleed into each other. And then what I usually do to make the 808 hit a little bit harder is I turn the boost up and the volume up just a little bit. And yeah, like I said, I came up with this pattern. I'll go ahead and play it with the hi-hat and the clap just so you can hear like where it's at right now. Not too crazy, and then it's just copied over at the end. On the second part, it just has a part where the 808 just kind of spazzes out, and like I said, that just adds to the energy, like the energetic vibe of Nardo Wick. A little spice at the end where it just kind of goes crazy. The next thing that I added once I had the 808 down is just this basic open hat. Really repetitive throughout the beat. Next thing I did is I added this little bounce snare right here. Go ahead and play it in context of everything. Little variation, and then I just copied that over as the same thing. As you can tell, these drums are nothing crazy, but when you look at the beat, you can see I have different sections, and usually when I'm making a beat, I'll like go ahead and split all the channels so that I can like manipulate the hi-hat or the 808 just throughout the beat. But for this beat, for some reason, I just had different patterns. I just broke down this first pattern and showed you everything I did, but I wanted to have a switch up on the second half of the hook. So what I did is I made this next pattern a little bit different. I took the 808 and I took the first note and I just pitched it up an octave. Yeah, just something that's like a little bit different on the second half of the hook. I kept the hi-hat the same, the clap the same, the open hat the same, and then what I did with the bounce snare is I just added a bunch of like rolls throughout the whole thing, so it sounds like this in context. As you can see, the velocities are kind of going up and down, and then I went to the panning and I panned them back and forth. So what I did is I just put it to quarter step and I just played it by ear. Like I just put down a few notes. I have it going from like A sharp to C, and then down here like they're all different pitches and stuff. And then I changed it up at the end over here. I changed it to a third step, you know, adds a little variation, sounds a little bit different. The drums are just going crazy. And then I added another snare. I'll go ahead and play everything in context. And then I just copy that over. So nothing crazy, just adding more bounce with that snare. And then as you can see, I have another kind of switch up for when the verse starts. So for the first part of the verse, I just took out the 808 for a little bit. I'll go ahead and play it in context. It just sounds like this. Oh, and another thing I did for this part is I took out the open hat. It makes a difference between the hook and the verse. It's like the artist can just tell like that's when they're supposed to go in and start rapping and do the verse. So once I had all the drums and the melody and everything arranged, the next thing that I wanted to do was I needed to mix the beat. And so what I did for this one is I made sure I took the master channel and I put it into mono, and it just makes it so that you don't have any like panning going on or like stereo separation going on that can kind of like deceive you into thinking that certain sounds are louder or quieter than others. It just gives you a better picture of the mix. And then the first thing that I did is I made sure that the 808 was hitting just above 0 dB, like between 0 and 3 dB. Yeah, as you can see, the 808's hitting right above 0 dB, doesn't go past 3 dB. And the reason why I do that is because when you have it over 0 dB and you have a soft clipper on the master, which is like essential, you should always have a soft clipper on the master. It's going to give it that like really hard hitting clipping sound. So that was hitting around 0 to 3 dB. Then I brought in the melody. And then obviously the clap. Clap's a little loud. Clipping as well, but the Nardo Wick type beat, so I'll just leave it like that. Then the hi-hat, usually have it around like anywhere from like 12 to 6 dB, depending on the beat. For somebody like Nardo Wick, I want the hi-hats to be a little bit louder. The open hat. Not too loud. And then I have these snares. Again, not too loud. So yeah, this beat is really loud. A lot of things are like clipping and the drums are just going crazy. That's because it's a Nardo Wick type beat. Like I said, you want to just go crazy with the drums. All right, so last but not least, you want to make sure that your master is on point. So I have a soft clipper on it like usual, and what that does is it just clips the drums. So basically if the noise level goes above where the soft clipper is set, it'll clip it so that it won't go past like a certain point. So this clips it at 0 dB. It still has that like hard hitting crunchy sound. Shout out to Only One from 808 Mafia. He has a drum kit with a few mixer presets, and he has a master preset that I started using. So it has this multi-band compressor on it and this Wave Candy plugin right here, and it just makes it sound really good. It makes the 808 hit hard but not like too overpowering. And the absolute last thing that I did is I just added my tag and Ellis's tag, and then I added a little riser from the Slat drum kit. So I just put that at the end of every, like, anytime it's like kind of switching up. Yeah, that's pretty much it for a Nardo Wick type beat. Like I said, you want to keep it really energetic. You want to make sure the sample sounds really dark, keeping it simple, leaving room for the artist, but also at the same time like throwing in little things that just make it stand out, make it go crazy, add to the energy. Like I said, I'll leave a link down in the description for the red tape loop kit, 25 dark loops, and I'll leave a link down below for the Slat drum kit. It has over 120 like hard hitting drums. So if you're interested in that, check that out. Hopefully you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.